All over the world, we're getting larger. The authors of this study say they are shocked by how fast obesity levels have risen since 1990. And they're urging governments to get serious about a health problem linked to heart disease, diabetes, and some forms of cancer.
In today's Health Smart, the CDC has released statistics that show people in more states are larger than ever. Here's how obesity rates looked in 2012. They range from low to moderate, with no states having an obesity rate above 35%. Now fast forward 10 years and the rates skyrocket above 35%. It's worse in Oklahoma, Louisiana, and West Virginia, where more than 40% of adults are considered obese.
There's no definitive cure for obesity, but weight loss drugs are being presented as a potential solution. That market is expected to be worth $80 billion by 2030, as demand for such drugs is set to grow at unprecedented pace.
What they do is they trick your body into thinking that you're full, you don't need to eat anymore, but they do have some side effects. Short term, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea. In the longer term, and longer, I mean even in the course of a month, people can have such rapid weight and fat loss, they may actually notice it in their face, and you can have some rare symptoms as well, like kidney disease. So things to definitely look out for.
Yeah, so we know that the way these drugs work is they mimic a hormone in the gut called GLP-1, and that stimulates the body to produce insulin, can also curb hunger, and it slows the stomach from emptying. And it's that last thing that doctors are focused on now. Our reporter, Brenda Goodman, talked with 3 patients who had sort of a severe effect of that actually caused, or their doctors think perhaps caused, stomach paralysis or gastroparesis, a severe form of that, and that can cause severe vomiting and nausea. And of course, GI effects are known side effects of these medicines. You can see in clinical trials, nausea was felt by 20% of patients on Ozempic, 44% of patients on Wegovy, which is a higher dose of Ozempic, essentially for weight loss. But the stomach emptying effect is something that Novo mentions in the drugs label, but only really to warn patients it can affect, if they're taking other drugs, the metabolism of those medicines as well. Not that it can cause this effect. The FDA has said it's received some reports of stomach paralysis among patients taking the medicines. They don't know if the medicines caused this. They did say in some cases that hadn't stopped, even after patients stopped taking the medicine.
All right. Well, that's kind of scary. Scary times we're living in, unprecedented, as you can see. Thanks everybody for being here. My name's Robert Oblon. We're going to do a deep dive tonight on CURBIX is what it's called. But I just want to kind of set up what we're talking about, right? We're talking about a global crisis, and it's not new, right? But as you saw in some of these news reports, it's an epidemic. It's staggering here in the U.S. I think we've talked about this the last couple of nights, but 74% of the U.S. population as of last year is considered overweight, and over 40% classified as obese. And what's been going on, and I'm sure you guys have all heard of or know someone, or maybe even have tried a semaglutide because they flooded the market over the last several years. And you saw in that video, they're projecting by 2030 to be $80 billion market for these semaglutide drugs. And by the way, they're only talking about the branded versions of Ozempic and Wegovy. The non-branded version that most people have been taking, if you know someone that's taking a semaglutide, they're usually what are called compounded, meaning some pharmacy is making this drug, because it's a drug, it's a synthetic version of GLP-1, which I'm going to explain tonight. But the reality is those non-branded versions are unregulated. That means you don't know what you're putting in your body. You're getting this syringe and a little, bottle of this liquid, and you have no idea if someone is taking a compounded version, they have no idea what's in that bottle, what's in that syringe, and what they're putting in their body. What they know, and you saw this in the video, you can see some of it here, is they're studying Ozempic and Wegovy. These are the branded versions that you need a prescription for. the side effects are really crazy. Like on the I think it's the Wegovy, it's 44% of the people, like almost half of the people have nausea. Now, let me tell you something about synthetic injectable semaglutides. What you're doing when you put that in your body is that you're injecting a synthetic version of this hormone, GLP-1. It's not a real hormone, it's a synthetic one, but it's staying turned on, so to speak, for 168 hours straight. That's why people only inject once a week. So what they're doing is they're turning this hormone on that's telling you you're not hungry for a week straight. And if you're one of the 44% that's getting nausea, you're getting nausea for a week, not just for a few hours, like, if you have a bad migraine or nauseated or whatever, right? Imagine that. You can't turn off the nausea. Like, that's scary. I know people that have tried to take semaglutide and they couldn't tolerate it because it made them sick or nauseous, or they got all kinds of fatigue and other stuff just to lose weight, right? So, yet the compounded version, I'm being told, is a $10 billion marketplace right now. $10 billion for the non-branded version. Okay, so let's talk about what they're injecting and what is natural, right? So it's a hormone. It's a hormone called GLP-1 that stands for gluconic-like peptide 1. Okay, and basically, it's a hormone that helps regulate your blood sugar, helps you with appetite to tell you you're full and digesting. It's produced in your gut. It's a natural hormone that's secreted in your intestinal tract. And what happens is this, by the way, you have this happening naturally every single day, every time you eat. So what happens is when you're full, that's the hormone GLP-1 saying, hey, it's sending a message up through your vagus nerve to your brain saying, okay, you're done, you're full. That's all. That's what GLP-1 is doing, right? So your body naturally produces it. So you might imagine when you're putting the synthetic version in there, you're doing the same thing unnaturally, meaning you're unnaturally putting, even if you think about it, you're injecting this needle in your body, you're putting this synthetic drug inside, and it's telling you you're full. You hadn't even eaten, right? Scary stuff going on. I'm not going to kind of go down the rabbit hole of why that synthetic version is so bad for you. We're going to talk a lot about it. We got comparisons on the website when it goes live. We're going to be on probably weekly calls with the doctors talking about this. Is what I wanted to describe to you guys, and I have Dr. Epitropoulos with us again tonight. What I want to describe to you is what we are doing. What is a natural alternative? And with that, I'd like to introduce, if you didn't meet him the other night, Dr. Michael Epitropoulos. I see you there. You can go ahead and turn your camera on and unmute yourself if you're ready. All right. So there he is. How are you, sir?
Hello, Robert.
Thank you for being here once again.
Thank you for having me with you.
Always a pleasure. So I'm going to go back to the slides in a second, but I just wanted, for the sake of the conversation, I'd like you to explain what a secretatog is and the essence of what we're doing with our product and why it's working, number one. And then number two, I know that you and your wife Tracy and some of your patients have been the first sort of test subjects over the last few months. I'd love to share, the outcome and what you guys have been doing. But first, let's tell everybody, again, I have a slide for it, but just so they understand what we're doing when we're ingesting our capsule naturally, so that we can create our own natural appetite suppression.
So the best way to start to explain this would be the use of the this natural alternative to semaglutide. Basically, when we are taking the capsule, ingesting the capsule basically is made from a fermented protein. And you made reference the other day or the other night to the fact that we have a unique situation. The developer, the inventor of this formula is the gentleman that developed it from a fermented protein source. He was a longtime specialist in weight loss from the 90s for the last 30 years. And he started to specialize more and more into the weight loss and as well as proteins and more or less the alternative meat products from these proteins. So he took from a fermented protein source this formula, and he found he was doing studies on the fermented protein that when people ingested this fermented protein, it caused the body on its own naturally to make significant levels of this GLP-1 hormone and PYY hormone. Those are the two primary hormones that control appetite and suppress cravings. So this level that it was raised to, the production of GLP-1 was around 2,800%, and the PYY to around 10,000%. That's very significant levels. So that every 2 capsules you take of this source of a fermented protein gives you 6 to 8 hours of reduced appetite significantly. And this is the whole effect of this formulation, and it has all of the effectiveness of these compounded injections without the side effects, and that's very, very significant. So this product is unique too because it crosses the blood-brain barrier. It's endogenous. It's a secretagogue, which crosses the blood-brain barrier. It's made naturally by the body. So all the effects it has are positive effects. And the other thing about this is I wanted to point out, the other night we were talking Tuesday night about leaky gut, and the gut plays a very vital role to this product because this product is produced in the gut. Both of these hormones are produced in the gut. So the healthier your gut is, the better this product will be surviving. It'll be produced and maintained, the production levels of it, so that everyone really should be taking a prerequisite. I tell everyone that goes on this full product to get the most out of this product. You want to heal continuously, to work on healing your leaky gut, and you're going to do that with the gut health triad, Biomax ADK, the cell ties, and neutralize. You're going to eat, and we're going to discuss this more in detail as we go on through the weeks and talking about the CURBIX, but you want to eat also fermented foods, which will build up the good bacteria in your gut wall. The more good bacteria you have in your gut, the better your leaky gut improves your ability to make more of this GLP-1, PYY, and them to last longer. That all continues to increase. So the effectiveness of this product increases as you work on healing your leaky gut. So in a nutshell, this is basically the summarization of why this product is so amazing. You folks are going to get so much benefit when you start using it and when your friends start using it. This is, as you saw at the beginning of this, the fact that we have a significant epidemic of obesity, and obesity is the #1 cause of all the problems that we have, everything going on from diabetes to heart disease to cancer. So by working on weight management, effective weight management with CURBIX, we're going to accomplish so much across the board with this product.
Absolutely. So, and like Dr. Epitropoulos said, we are going to have weekly. We're actually going to relaunch Wellness Wednesdays And every week we'll have a doctor or a naturopathic, wellness practitioner. We have many of them within the company, and new ones coming. Every week we'll be talking about all of our products, but especially CURBIX as we continue down the path, and of course launch it. I know I got a really great update today. I'll share at the end of this presentation. So secretatog. So Dr. Michael, I'd also like to share that even though what we're doing from a secretatog, and you saw that slide, I'll just go back to it. What we're doing is the primary ingredient is actually a secretatog. That means it's a protein like Dr. Epitropoulos mentioned, but what it's doing is it's telling your gut microbiome to secrete the GLP-1, right? But there's also another agonist, is what it's called. It's a double agonist. And we're simultaneous to, maybe you can explain this better than me, doctor, simultaneous to the secretion of GLP-1, we're also secreting PYY that is, or preventing the secretion of PYY, right? So in other words, PYY naturally turns off GLP-1. So we're in the double agonist, we're turning on GLP-1 and stopping the PYY so that it can do its job for that 6 or 8 hour period. Am I saying that right?
Yes. So basically the PYY comes into effect because it's helping turn it off, but also helps the GLP-1 go through the membrane, the gut, into the gut for that level of 6 to 8 hours to be effective. So it's permeating, it's helping it permeate, it's helping it go through that membrane, which is so vital. And that's why I said you need to take care of a leaky gut, because that permeation is critical to the GLP-1 being effective as it's being produced. And Chip Marsland, who's the developer of this product, has put in things like berberine and other things that are natural aids to not just turn off one thing, but to help the GLP-1 permeate to get through the membrane. That's what's amazing about this formulation. It's not unheard of to be able to do things that he's had this thing do. And this fermented protein is so unique that way. He's the only one that's been able to figure out how to do this. And we're fortunate to be able to use his formulation.
Exclusively, right? So
Exclusively.
we're partnering together, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's everyone has been, especially all the new people, have been hearing me talk a lot about unicorns, right? This is a unicorn. I mentioned it the other night. We've had so many Zooms now, but what makes this a unicorn? A multitude of things. The first one is what we're talking about. This formulation, this creation. Number one. Number two, different than almost every other sort of nutraceutical formulation where people are mixing ingredients together to try and create some unique product line or product. This is different because Chip, the inventor, and his team, they're actually growing the main ingredient themselves, right? And of course not in a backyard or anything, but the point is that's what they're doing, which means it's completely unique. In other words, you can't get this raw material anywhere. In other words, no one else can get the raw materials. That makes sense. So it makes it a complete differentiator where it can't be copied, it can't be knocked off. And then finally, there's some really interesting things that we'll share over the next couple weeks that are in our favor. I was mentioning the compounding and what's going on. Someone mentioned in the chat, I think I saw, these prescription-based Ozempics and Wegovy. They're really expensive. First of all, you have to get a prescription for the most part, number one. Number two, they're expensive. The cheapest Ozempic is like $800, like between $800 and $1,200. Wegovy's similar. And then if you can get a prescription and if your insurance covers it, that's another factor. So that's why so many, to the tune of, they believe it's a $10 billion market. That's why the compounding has been so relevant, because people pay $300 or $400 for the compounded version, which is still, again, scary, still bad for you. You don't know what's in it. we're going to go to market on a subscription of $179, right? So, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. So I'm just, you want to add to that?
I was just going to say, by my own experience in using this, and my wife as well, we've been on it since the beginning when Chip first came out with this product in late September. And first of all, my appetite is significantly reduced to where I'm having just down to one major meal a day. My wife the same. Number two, I used to crave significant cravings for bread. Those are all gone. And that's what we call food noise, which it reduces significantly. And my wife would state the same. I've lost in 2 months about 15 pounds, my wife as well. It's changed her life dramatically. I mean, she feels like a new person. She won't go without it. And this is a forever supplement because it has many other health benefits, one of which I was amazed by because right before I started this product back in September, I had a lipid profile done and my levels for triglycerides were elevated. So was my cholesterol, so was my LDL, and then my HDL levels were still fairly average. And then after 2.5 months in December, I did another blood profile. Same thing. I did the cholesterol, triglycerides, LDLs, and HDLs. And in 2.5 months being on this product, my triglycerides for the first time, and I've never been able to lower them, they dropped by 60 points. And so did my cholesterol, and so did my LDLs drop significantly into the normal range for the first time in 20 years. And my HDLs went up for the first time in many years. So when you can have a product like this, not only just reduce your appetite significantly and cravings to where you're dropping weight and your clothes start fitting you better, but to see changes in your blood and your lipids and your blood lipids, that is very, very significant, folks. That's why this is a product, when you get on it, you want to be on it for life because of what it does for your body. It's amazing, truly.
Let's talk about, you're triggering all kinds of thoughts that I wasn't thinking about for tonight, but, the significant, one of the many, on top of everything you're talking about, values of, trying to get back to my PowerPoint here. The one of the other many values of CURBIX is, many people have heard of and tried intermittent fasting, right? And it's, for those of you who haven't or heard of it, you should go just look it up because this is really the essence of what the opportunity is for you. So intermittent fasting is very interesting because normally intermittent fasting, depending on your weight and age, really, there's kind of a scale that says, sorry, I shouldn't screen again. There's kind of a scale that is, stay in a fasted state for 14 or 16 or 18 hours. And then there's a window that you eat every day. So that's intermittent fasting, right? The challenge with intermittent fasting is something you guys have all heard of and experienced, something called hangry. It's really hard not to eat, all day and trying, because like an intermittent fasting window means, you're trying to not eat until like 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. or 6 p.m., depending again on your window. And so, like for me, really hard. I could skip breakfast, no problem, with red coffee and surge and, stuff that, we have, no problem. I can have a late lunch, but any longer than that, very difficult. And then, hanger or headaches or various things. Really, intermittent fasting isn't easy. With this product, you're going to be able to very easily, start an intermittent fasting type of program because it's going to not just suppress your appetite, but you're not going to get hangry. You're going to, Dr. Epitropoulos was talking about food noise. This is a habitual thing that happens when you just like habitually at a certain time, you say, oh, I got to eat. And then the noise starts hitting and you start thinking about whatever it is you want to eat. That's food noise, right? And then the cravings, are very hard. I don't know about you guys, but really hard to curb. Once your brain, that food noise kicks in, it's really hard to not go snack or have the food, right? And then on top of that, add insult to injury, when we crave stuff, usually we're craving comfort foods, right? So in other words, not healthy stuff. And it's no wonder we have a weight epidemic, right? Because what are we snacking on? What are we craving? All the stuff that's making us a lot heavier. So what CURBIX is doing is, on a very different and healthy level, not just this double agonist of getting this GLP-1 turned on and the PYY turned off, and the other various health benefits we're talking about. But if you just look at it from an intermittent fasting perspective, there's actually something I learned when, as we were developing out the marketing for CURBIX. I discovered there's a very large community of what's called, I think they're called OMAD, one meal a day. Yeah, OMAD. This is a lifestyle. It's called OMAD, of people that just eat one meal a day. So it's kind of the next level beyond intermittent fasting, because this is a lifestyle. This isn't just like intermittent fasting tends to be more of a kind of a short-term diet kind of thing. But anyway, my point about all of this is going to enable you to intermittent fast and get to a point where you can eat once a day, which by the way is really healthy. Go study it. And then just do that every day. That's why Dr. Michael's saying, that now, and this is what Chip, the inventor, has told me, and I had the original samples. I'm waiting for the launch as well. That's what's happening. You're taking this product. It's healthy because you're not overeating anymore. You're curbing. That's why we call it CURBIX. You're curbing the food noise, and more importantly, now you're actually not even craving, right, Dr. Mike? You're not even craving the snack type stuff, right? So now you can easily eat a high protein or a much healthier one time a day type of meal. And then so the natural logical conclusion is the side effect. What's the side effect? You're losing weight because you're easily and naturally just eating less and then eating better. And that's it. I mean, it's not even that difficult, right? We're making it really easy for you to have a side effect of weight loss. And then when you add, by the way, like Dr. Michael's saying, other products, you obviously want to continue to make your gut microbiome much healthier, no matter what, absorb better. In this case, we want better absorption on one hand. On the other hand, we want a healthier gut microbiome, so we excrete more of that GLP-1, right? That's what you're saying. But then, to supplement, right? Here's your protocol for the day. You wake up, you have a glass or a cup, I should say, of the world's healthiest coffee, red, right? That with your CURBIX. And now, let's just say you get a little food noise while you're getting a little bit more acclimated to eating once a day. You get to 1 or 2 o'clock. Guess what? You have a surge, and then the surge with its coffee fruit and its antioxidants and its energy. Right. Next thing you know, it's 4 or 5 o'clock, and now you have that window. Like again, in intermittent fasting, it's 3 or 4 hour window. Now you can eat. So it's really revolutionary, and it's a game changer, and it works. By the way, we had a trial group that are a little upset because they've already ran out of the product, and they're like, "Oh, I thought we were going to launch this already," and again, the weather delays, etc. So anyway, I will keep on trucking here. Everything we're talking about, these are screenshots from the website. This is all the information on the site, things we're already talking about. right? Natural alternative to the unnatural stuff, right? Side effect free, meaning the side effects of those synthetics that we already talked about. The best part of all, there's an overwhelming number of people that even want to do semaglutides, but won't because they're scared of needles. They want to put a needle in their body, right? Which I understand. No needles, no prescriptions, right? So the science we've been talking about, I should have been showing these slides while we were talking, but you mentioned this already, balancing the blood sugar. I think this is a really big deal, right? For what the other positive attributes of, again, we're not just controlling our appetite, we're not just eating less and losing weight, but we're controlling or stabilizing blood sugar. Can you speak to that a little bit more?
Well, it's all about blood sugar stabilization, regulation. Insulin is a fat storing hormone. And when we make excess insulin, we become what's called insulin resistant. And we have a very large population of this country that is pre-type 2 diabetic that is insulin resistant. They make excess levels of insulin because they're eating foods that spike the insulin all day long, like the standard American diet, the breads, the pastas, the rice, potatoes, sugar, cookies, cakes, candies. So we're eating those foods all day long, spiking the insulin, spiking that fat storing hormone. We become insulin resistant. When you stabilize insulin, and this product does that by increasing the production of GLP-1 and PYY, that actually brings down the blood sugar, that stabilizes the insulin. So you're getting better use out of your insulin and your blood sugar. That goes a long ways. That's why my cholesterol dropped and triglycerides and LDLs, because my blood sugar is stabilizing more efficiently and effectively. That's what weight control is all about. That's the secret to having effective weight loss, weight control. So this product, by making the excess levels of GLP-1 and PYY, and by stabilizing insulin and stabilizing the blood sugar, you're going to have wonderful weight loss. You're going to be successful with weight loss. Your appetite will be controlled. Your cravings will be reduced. You'll be on your way to much, much greater and better health, the best that you've ever asked for and could hope for. And this product is going to give you that. So it's really awesome, this product. I can't say enough. In my 40 years of practice, I've never seen a nutritional product be as effective as this. I've gone through so many weight loss products through the years, and none of them has worked. This is the most effective product I've ever come across for weight management, way by far of anything I've ever seen out there.
Can you? I want to. I want you to repeat what you just said. The first part, like, this is very significant. Everybody watching and listening. Okay, this is a 40+ year naturopathic chiropractic doctor. Okay, that has impacted literally tens and tens of thousands of people over 40 years. And I think you just said in 40 years, you've never seen a weight loss impact like this.
Never seen anything come close to this and how this works. And what's really neat about this, as you folks get out there and start sharing this with, for example, doctors are the first ones that need to know about this, because the number one problem that the patient goes to a doctor for is to lose weight. And they don't have an answer for it. So there you go. I mean,
it's some of these videos in that opening video, I have 4 or 5 videos that I've pulled down, and I've watched them all the way through, learning more about this epidemic that's not new, right? But that was one of the pieces I left out. There's a lot more content. Was speaking to what's going on in the big pharma medical establishment because of the obesity epidemic and all the health related issues like diabetes that it is leading to, and the cost. This is really big, right? The cost that it's costing just in the US alone I forget how, like it was a couple trillion with a T in terms of the impact cost because of the weight problem, right? So I mean, it's real. So we, as you can see, maybe we have Cameron Core on the line with us because he's actually also has his own testimonial. Obviously, because of our partnership, he has been one of the first trial users of CURBIX. And I thought it'd be cool to have Cameron, you tell, what your experience has been the last couple months.
Yeah, and so I got it about 6, 7 weeks ago
Yeah,
when you were
whenever
here.
when I was at your house, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so about 7 weeks ago, I still have some left because it works so well that my wife said, "Honey, you're losing too much weight. You're losing too much. You're looking gaunt in the face." And of course, I'm a healthy guy. I eat pretty well. I work out. I'm doing the 75 hard deal. But here's what happened. And I in the morning I drink red, right? I drink red. I take one CURBIX, and then
Only one?
what's that?
One capsule? That's
I
it?
take one. Yes, I know I'm supposed to take three, but I take one, and then should I take six?
Well, so the
So the
a
bottle that
daily
I
a
got,
daily
the
a
bottle that
day.
I got didn't have a label on
I know. Yeah, you had one of these, right? No label. No, I know.
it.
No, so the daily serving is six,
Yeah,
and everyone's been a little different. Like
I took three a day,
okay,
right?
so you're
And
taking
then
half a dose technically, but it's working for you,
half a dose, and it curbs it literally does what it says it does.
right?
And here's the deal. Sarah's family and a lot of my friends are on Wegovy. They're on triglyceride. They're on all this. They're needles, $1,000 a month, and they're losing weight, but they're also losing muscle. They're
Yeah.
losing energy. Their eyes are sinking. I mean, I hope they're not hearing me say this, but this to me, it's a game changer. It's a game changer in the industry. It's a game changer for us as a company. It's a game changer for every single person that is listening here. One, as of just being a customer, forget sharing it. Just being a customer, if you
Yeah.
need to lose some weight, it works. Two words, it works. Okay. Number two, when it works, people notice. People are going to ask you, "What are you doing? What's going on? What's going on?" And you tell them what's going on. You're not selling. You're just showing that it works. And so then in the afternoon, I take a 2.0. I call it the 2.0, the Surge 2.0. And that gives me energy for the rest of the day. And and I know we work 15 hours a day anyway. So
Okay, good. Thank you for that information. I got a few more slides. We can't go over tonight because at 9 o'clock I'm doing a red deep dive on a totally separate link.
yeah.
But it's a great kind of segue into again, all this is on the website when it goes live. Segue to I mentioned this already. CURBIX is going to be retailed at $225, which is again a phenomenal price considering again the market of compounded versions of these drugs, these bad unnatural drugs, is $300 or $400, and like Cameron just said, the cheapest of the branded ones are $800, $1,000, $1,200 if you can get it. And people are paying it because these people want to lose weight. They just don't realize yet because it's all starting to come out. The last probably 6 months, all the side effects. The video, the snippets I played in the beginning, these are news outlets talking about how bad it is. So anyway, at 179, here's the really exciting part. Okay, so for everybody, this is what I really want you to get. This kind of what Cameron was driving down this lane of opportunity. You're going to earn a 30% commission for everybody that buys CURBIX from you. 30% commission on $179 is $53.70. It's almost $54 for one product, one customer, one monthly subscription. Okay, so I want to really emphasize the opportunity. Okay, just to kind of tie everything together. We already know that the compounding market right now is estimated at $10 billion. That means the non-branded $300 or $400 market. Now, I have it on good authority that in mid-March, the FDA has already announced, they announced this in December, there's something called the Compounding Act. They are going to press the button and you're no longer going to be able to legally get a compounded semaglutide 2 months from now. And if that happens the way that, I mean, I've got the document from the FDA, they've made the announcement, I think it was December 19th, right? This is going to open up an even greater opportunity than we already have, because that 10 billion market is going to be looking for a replacement because those people can't afford or can't get the prescription for the drug version. Okay, it's staggering. All right. Now, getting back to opportunity, in our business model, our distribution model of direct selling, right? We're still direct sellers, right? We've been talking about this. Rocket Gig is still a direct selling company. It's just not an MLM. The average person is looking for an extra $500 to $1,000 a month. That's always been the target, and that's still as relevant as ever before. So now mathematically it gets really interesting. I'm just talking CURBIX. Forget coffee, forget nucleogenics, forget happy travel. Just for the sake of this conversation, let's just talk CURBIX, okay? At $53 a sale, direct commission to you. That's not even counting getting into the community dividends, okay? What does it take to make an extra $500 a month? Oh, I forgot you guys are muted. Sorry. What does it take? 10 customers. In a $10 billion market, I don't know about you, but 10 customers should be really, really easy to do, right? And by the way our business model works, that also means your personally enrolled affiliates in Rocket Gig are also your customers. That means for all the affiliates that you personally enrolled that buy CURBIX, you're earning that too. Okay, so just let that sink in. Now, you want to make some real money? I don't know. How long will it take you to get 100 customers? Just talking CURBIX, forget everything else. Now the numbers get very interesting, right? Cameron, I know you're still there listening, shaking your head. Like, you have a bona fide path with this one product to make $5,000 a month. Now, let me explain something for those of you that really need to understand the financial wherewithal of the U.S. economy. When 80% of the U.S. population, dual household income is less than 60 grand a year. 2 checks in one house is less than 60 grand a year. How much is $5,000 a month? Residual. 60 grand a year. So I don't know if someone was to dedicate just 1 year, 12 months, just a year, and at the end of that 12 months they had 100 customers in a product that's going to change their life, like Dr. Epitropoulos said, is going to be a forever type of product. I'm not even counting all the other products and services that they're going to buy from you. Right now you want to get crazy, and I don't like to do I don't normally like to showcase numbers like this. It's not for those of you who know me. I'm not one to really kind of talk about the money and the numbers, right? I like to talk about the life changing and the value of making people wealthier, wealthier, WELL, wealthier, right? Wellness path. But when you start thinking about the possibilities and you have the opportunity with a product that is has no competition, it's a total unicorn, can only get it through us. Now if you went out and really hustled, I'm talking about really hustled, and in an epidemic of weight, you're talking about the opportunity without having to build a downline, without being in an MLM with all those kind of numbers and exaggerations. Frankly, you have opportunity to make 20, 30, 40, $50,000 a month with one product if you put in the work, if you're hungry, right? So I wanted to just kind of leave that there and ask one more question. This is for the end of the night. We're over after this, and get on the red coffee, because I'm going to do this again with coffee in about 13 minutes. But I have one question for you. One question. How many personal customers are you going to have in a year? By February 2026. What I'd love for you to do right now is write that down somewhere, tape it on your monitor, write it across your, tattoo it on your hand. I don't know. I'd love for you to set a goal, and if you were just looking at a very significant unicorn product that can change your life as a product of the product, and you go out and you set the target goal, and that's why I want you to write it down. Like what number of customers are you going to have in 12 months?